oops. Yes, okay, those are the settings for my airbrush. It's nice. It's more it adds like a gradient kind of look. Rather than blending colors, it's kind of like adding a gradient. There you go. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. And I'll merge those colors down. Okay, make a new one. Now color the base color of the hair. And just notice how I can color really messy and it won't go out of the space that I filled down over here in this layer. So that's all thanks to the clipping group setting that you put on the folder. If I turned off clipping group, everything would go outside the lines. Okay, finish coloring the hair. So clipping group and preserve opacity, those are like super important and handy options that you can use when you're coloring. That's what I always use. Okay, so here there's like a space between the hair and the neck here that I have to erase later. And I'll show you that. Okay. Okay, so if I go back to the base color where I put down the first layer to make the mask, I need to uncheck preserve opacity and then go use my eraser and just get rid of that space that I filled in earlier because I didn't need that part to be colored. Yeah, okay, that's good. So back to the hair, I'm gonna preserve opacity. Choose the first layer of shading. You can, how I like to highlight hair is either go with a darker color or a lighter color. So with lighter color hair, I tend to use a darker shade for the highlight. Kind of doesn't make sense when I say highlight, but anyways, this is up to you. You can go with a lighter color, like a really light yellow, or a darker shade. So basically I blotch in the areas kind of in a circular shape to match the shape of the head. Next, I'm going to use a new brush, and I'll show you the settings of those as well. So here they are on the side. There you go. This brush is more blendy than my previous brush that I used, I guess. I don't know. Probably doesn't really make that much of a difference. Here, I'll show you. So this is how this brush looks, and if I use my other brush, it's kind of the same. I think this one's more smooth though. You can kind of see like a jagged edge when I use the other brush, whereas the one that I normally use for the hair, it's more smooth, I think. Anyways, so I make, oops, there you go. It's kind of messy and fast. I have to do this video really fast so then I don't have to upload such a long one. Okay. But basically I've shown you all my brushes already. I just use the line art brush, 2 blending brushes, and then 1 solid brush for putting down the base colors. And those are pretty much all the brushes that I need. I guess I'll just finish up this picture and then I'll end the video. So maybe I should explain what I was just doing. So what I did was I clicked on the folder and I clicked this down arrow. It's called merge layer set. So what it does is it merges everything that's inside the folder into one layer, and you can see how it's still on a clipping group. You're gonna keep it on the clipping group and you're gonna hit this merge down layer. So now it merged down with your base color that you had earlier. Go back to the line art, hit preserve opacity, and then I like to change it to a multiply kind of layer, and I'll just fill it with a reddish color, just for default, so then all the lines are colored. And then I'll go back to my really solid brush and I'll choose a color that's similar to the hair here, except make it a little bit darker and a little more red. Or you can choose like a totally opposite color to what you're coloring the lines around, and maybe that floats your boat more. Just experiment, play around with the colors. You can get some really interesting effects. You can add random colors, make it a little more rainbowy. Yeah, there we go. I don't know. Anyways, and then I'll choose another color for the skin area. Makes the lines a little less harsh when you color it similar to what it's outlining. Okay, this under the chin can be darker. Meh. Okay, and then I tend to like a dark color for the eyes because it helps them stand out, like eyeliner. Okay, and then I'll color the lines around the iris. There we go. And then at this point, I've colored all the lines. I merge that down with my color layer, and then I will fix up any gross kind of lines with my line art brush. Sometimes I'm just so messy when I sketch. This is where you can fix it up. Sometimes you might want to use or fix up the colors of the lines as well. Doesn't really matter. Okay, you can add extra details at this point. What else do I do? Okay, and then I'll make a layer above that, and then with my line art brush or this really solid brush, I'll just draw some highlights. Okay. Whenever I'm gonna add some color effects on top of the art that I've just done, I make a new layer and then I click clip and group right away because I want the color effects to only go on top of my drawing and not around on the canvas. And using the airbrush is really nice because it gives you a nice soft blend and you don't get like harsh color changes. Okay, and then using overlay is really nice. It can allow you to change like the hue of the art. So here I made it more reddish. If I don't like that, I'll click undo, or I'll just choose another color and color on top. So if you choose a lighter color, the effect brightens your image as well as gives it a color tint. If you use a dark color, then it will really intensify those colors, make it dark. So play around with that. So yeah, make sure you use clipping groups and then merge it down to your art when you're done. Or if you like to save all your layers, don't merge so much. I like to merge stuff all the time. Another clipping group, you can also use multiply and fill it with a color. You see, so this way you kind of put like a transparent film of a certain color on top of your art, kind of like those cellophane wrapping paper. Yeah, so that's what multiply is like. And maybe I'll add another overlay. There. That looks nice. Okay, so And if you don't want to fill the entire layer with one color, that's fine. You can airbrush some other colors around, soften some effects, or I don't know, just color filters are the best. They're so fun. Okay, so I'm done with that. Merge it down, merge it down. Okay, I guess that is the end of this video. Thank you for watching.